I spoke a couple weeks ago. I think I called the blog something like "Don't Get Pressure Cooked," and I talked a little bit about in that blog about how there's different role dynamics where some of us have broad shoulders and tend to, you know, carry more than our share of things, which sometimes is necessary. If we're in a leadership position, if you're leading a family or a community or a place, you know, sometimes we need to be a leader and carry more. But I've been noticing these roles are getting more and more out of balance, and we have in families, you see it where, you have a couple of people that are, a couple of parents working, and then you have even adult children that are just not carrying their weight, and they may be, they may have issues, they may be emotionally handicapped in various ways, and that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the role dynamics where when you're together as a community, okay, and that may be a family, it may be a community, it may be a workplace, okay, it may be whatever, a spiritual gathering, any collection of people, we'll just call it a community. And you put a community of people together, and there's going to be some people that tend to do more work, and there's going to be maybe other people that tend to do less work. Now, if it's a spiritual community and it's, you might have more people, it might be more equitable, like everyone comes there to kind of carry their own weight, and that's great. But in life, it's usually more diverse. You have some people that are carrying more of the load, and some people that are carrying less. Some people are doing nothing at all. Some people are sucking energy from the people that are carrying the weight. They're taking energy from, the system, and it's, we're not when we carry the weight and we carry their weight, and we're not doing them any favors, because their value from the community that they get is going to be proportional to what they invested, because it's a circle. We talk about putback, and in my culture we talk about completing the circle. Afterwards, you complete the circle. You offer something. If you took some teachings, you offer something in return. You complete the circle. It's an equitable exchange of energy, ultimately, maybe in the form of money or a gift or a whatever, but it's a circular, equitable exchange of energy. And so I want to talk about equitable community, and that could be a spiritual community, it could be a family, it could be a social community, it could be a neighborhood community, whatever that may be. It may be a meetup group. It may be, it could be a lot of different things. It's a community. So how can you, as a community leader, I'm going to assume you watching this, you may be one of the leaders of the community. How can you set it up so that the energy is equitable? So people are invited to, and it's almost expected to bring energy to the community. They're not just taking, everyone's invited to do something. When we do our retreats, and we've been doing these for 40 years now, and the whole thing is based on the fact that everybody does. The teachers there and the whatever's there, but then the people that are there, the students, or the people that are the participants, we'll call them, they're doing something too. They're like helping cook the meals, or they're building the fire, or they're gathering stones for the medicine wheel. And it was, they're chopping firewood, they're hauling firewood, they're bringing the water in. They're, the old chop wood, carry water thing. It's great because it keeps your mind occupied anyway if you're at a retreat. And then it's like you're bringing something, and then you bring something, and then what you were able to receive is going to be in proportion to that. It's a circle. And yeah, you can say, well, I'm paying for it too. That's it. Yes, but you're also contributing energy in the form of payment, in the form of what you bring. You're energetically participating. So you folks, and if you look at too, like if you look at, this is how it was, okay, back in these enlightened cultures. And there's a few, I'll go with, it's a little bit of a tired example, but I'll use it anyway. If you go with if you look at say Dances with Wolves, which attempted to depict, an enlightened native community, that hundreds of years ago, and it if you notice, everybody was doing something. When these clans of about 100 people, everybody was contributing. If people were doing this, so they had a role. They were warriors. They were food gatherers. They were raising the children. Everybody was doing something. There was no slack, and they had fun together too. But it was balanced. And what was another one? The Last Samurai is more of a Zen look at the same culture. Everybody was busy. Everyone had a role. Everyone contributed their energy. And so as a leader of community, as a community leader, and I invite all of you, encourage all of you to be community leaders, because we need communities. You've probably heard me say before is that, one of the biggest things we've lost in our culture, and while we're struggling, is the loss of community. So we need to build communities, and who better than you to build communities? And as you build communities, my suggestion is set them up as equitable communities. Make there room for everybody to bring something, to offer something. Okay, even if they don't do it as good as you, or that's the thing, is you have to sit in your hands sometimes, and can be a little painful watching someone build a campfire when they don't know how to build a campfire. But you can show them, and then they can learn how to do. They also are learning skills. They can learn how to do all of the things, including some of the spiritual leadership things, and then they're getting stronger, and then they can teach other people those things too, and so that's what I would encourage you to do. Watch these role dynamics, where some people are the givers, some people are the takers, some people are the leaders, some people are the followers, some people are the doers, some people are the watchers. It's they go deep, and if we go to sleep or we go unconscious, we revert to those old roles. Whenever we're not conscious, we get our old pattern. Okay, so when you are in community, not only set it up that way so everyone can contribute, but watch when the community starts going unconscious, when we start going on to automatic pilot, which is what happens when we're not conscious and not present, we'll start reverting back to our old roles. And you'll see certain people that are doing all the work, other people are watching, other people are criticizing, other people are whatever. It's just and then just notice, whoa, we're having a breakdown here. It's breaking down, we're reverting. So let's balance it again. Let's return to the equitable, it's a tough word for me today, equitable community. I said it better that time. And let's get so people have their roles, and everyone's contributing and everyone's taking. Everyone's receiving, everyone's giving. You give things, you get things. And you have a role, and then you have self-worth because you brought something and you brought excellence to the thing you're doing. Back to these movies, it's, you really see that in The Last Samurai. Excellent movie. It's even just the way the chop wood, carry water, you do it with excellence. And then you have pride that you did your thing with excellence, with integrity, with beauty. And you were a part of it. And then when we do the ceremony or we do the community event, your part of it works great. And then you feel like, I contributed to that. And I was part of the beauty that happened in that ceremony, in that community. And that's one of the reasons, that's one of the main reasons we meet and do retreats, which we are going to do a summer solstice. I think it's June 18th through the 22nd this year over by near Mount Shasta in Northern California, near the Oregon, line there. And that's one of the things that we practice there is how do we work together as Equitable Community so people can experience it and know what it feels like. So that is my video. That is my invitation. And I hope you have an amazing week. And as you go through your week, you'll find yourself in communities, whether that be at the workplace or with your family or with your, neighborhood. I look at things in terms of community. When you're in a community, start by noticing, is it equitable? And how could it be more equitable? And how could I invite more people to be involved and offer something so it becomes more equitable? And how do other people, perhaps you, do less so there's room for other people to do more? And I will see you in a week.